Fair to say at the NFL trade deadline, the biggest winners in the NFL were the Washington Commanders, able to add Marshon Lattimore and a 5th-round pick, giving up a 3rd, 4th, and 6th back to the Saints, who look like they're on their way to a full all-out rebuild. But Lattimore, 92 X-Factor within the context of Madden, certainly makes the Commanders a very interesting rebuild. So that is why today we are taking over current setup Washington Commanders 7-2 with the front runner for the Offensive Rookie of the Year award in Jayden Daniels. Now, NFC East rebuilds are always a little tricky as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but I have always been very adamant on this channel that of all the teams in the NFC East, the Commanders, while very annoying the last couple of years for the Philadelphia Eagles because Commanders have not been good, and it seems like they always have their Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'll never, ever, ever forget freaking Taylor Heineke, like, celebrating a rough in the pass. Oh, cringe. But I've always been very clear that I hate the Commanders the least. They tend to draft players that I like, and I do firmly believe that out of all the teams in the NFC East that could deserve, if I had to give up a little bit of ground and say, well, they can be all right for a couple years. I think the Commanders, it is their time. They've suffered through, they thought they had something in RG3. Did not work out. I was a big fan of RG3 coming out of Baylor. And neutral, like any games, like if the Commanders are already out of playoffs and they were playing someone that had no effect on the Eagles, I was like, man, let's see if RG3 can do some cool shit. And I feel like now we are kind of there again with Jayden Daniels, who looks every bit the part. I was always a big fan of Jayden Daniels. I was firmly in Drake May 1, Jayden Daniels 2 for the quarterback rankings. But that was always more of my belief in Drake May, who definitely a lesser supporting cast than Jayden Daniels has in Washington. And Drake May has made some highlight reel plays that makes you say, like, wow, if the Patriots actually can develop and bring some players on the offensive side of the ball, Drake May could be special. But Jayden Daniels has hit the ground running, and I was a big fan of his game way back when he was at Arizona State as a true freshman. Won me a couple bucks. I always talk about that. And now he's in the NFL, and he looks very good. He looks like a franchise quarterback already. Cliff Kingsbury has this offense rocking and rolling. You got Robinson and Eckler, a nice 1-2 punch in the backfield. Scary Terry's always been one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. Now he finally has a quarterback. I would say look at the rest of the offense. We're probably in a position where unless we can find a way to develop Luke McCaffrey, and we got Ben Sinnott here behind Eagles legend Zach Ertz, more weapons for Jayden Daniels certainly is in store for this rebuild. You look at the offensive line, we're going to need help at right tackle. Sam Cosmi, kind of out of nowhere, was like a meh. Sam Cosmi was in the discussion for one of the top tackles when he was coming out of Texas. Then he didn't work out at tackle. And then he suddenly just moved inside a guard where, wow, that is quite the development. You have Biotish, who, again, kind of like Cosby, was outstanding in college, was regarded as one of the top centers in college. Went to Dallas, was meh, and then surprise, surprise, leaves Dallas, becomes a pretty damn good player. And I'm looking at this team. We got Coleman, the rookie at a TCU, has a dev trade at tackle. We need a guard. We need a right tackle. We need probably a long-term option at tight end and maybe some wide receiver help. But outside of that, you are starting to see kind of some pillars on the offense here for the Commanders that for a long-term rebuild, minimum of 5, maximum of 10, as we try to turn this thing into a Super Bowl contender, we got the pieces there offensively, none bigger than Jayden Daniels. On the defensive side of the ball, adding Marshon Lattimore is a 92 X-Factor, which I don't think he's a 92 X-Factor in real life. We're not going to complain. We're going to take all the help that we can potentially get, but he's still a damn good shutdown corner on his day. And it does remind me when the Philadelphia Eagles made a trade deadline move to get Darius Slay, a.k.a. Slay, from the Detroit Lions. This has vibes like that. You got the Canadian Ben St. Juice is playing great football. Mike Samer still was one of the best slot corners in college football. The secondary, you feel real good about that. You had Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin back there as well at safety. So, I mean, there's... if we can find a way to win this thing within 5 years, this secondary, we can keep them all together from a salary cap standpoint. I think all these guys have their best football ahead of them, as well as someone like in Lattimore's case, with that X factor, should be able to maintain his 90-plus rating. The D-line has always been a strength for the Commanders, even in their down years. We got John Allen, Deron Payne, they got the rookie Johnny Newton. Good. I mean, they're a little bit older, especially in John Allen's case. Like, we might start seeing a little bit of regression. Deron Payne's likely at his ceiling. But I feel good about the interior. Exterior, you got Dorrance Armstrong, you got Fowler, a.k.a. just like two guys that are just always around Dan Quinn. Fowler's actually leading the team in sacks this year. Love seeing that as a Florida Gator. He's one of those weird picks. Remember, like he was like a top 5 pick for the Jags. Was like all right. Was like kind of like an average pass rusher. Just didn't work out. He has definitely played a lot better. Aged like a fine wine a little bit. So I like seeing that as a Florida Gator. But long-term, between Armstrong and Fowler, I don't think we have our long-term pass rush options. Luvu's kind of like a hybrid, but we're going to keep him at linebacker. But I definitely think edge rush, maybe even in our first draft, could be one of our top priorities here for the Commanders linebacking core. I mean, you got Luvu's versatile. You got the veteran in Bobby Wagner, but not really a long-term option. I don't really want to, and you never really want to invest at linebacker, because once we get into the Madden-generated classes, you can find linebackers second, third, fourth round that could easily pop in the dev trade, be mid-70s, and they will be your answer. They will be very cheap, affordable options at that position. That could be our plan, or say we can find a good safety. Jeremy Chin has the capabilities to come in and play a little bit of linebacker. So we have some options there, but definitely long-term probably need to consider the linebacking position, need to consider edge rush, need to consider a couple spots on the offensive line, and I desperately want to get more weapons at wideout and potentially at tight end to help Jayden Daniels. But ultimately, a great starting point here for the Commanders. We're inheriting the 7-2 start that they have right now, so I feel real good here in year one of this realistic rebuild of the Washington Commanders that we should be playoff contenders. Are we going to be Super Bowl contenders? Probably not, but you never know. Maybe Jayden Daniels can lead us on the Cinderella run. Without further ado, let's close out year number one, see how the 7-2 Commanders finish, and we'll take it from there. Before we get to the closeout of the year, let's look at our contracts. I actually really have no idea what the salary cap situation looks like here for the Commanders. $91 million. That gives us a decent amount of money. I think we got Seibert here, who's actually kind of been an awesome kicker. I know he's one of the top fantasy kickers, so we'll get him on a 2-year deal. Get Jeremy Chin at 26, Ben St. Juste at 26, Noah Brown at 28, Derek Forrest 25, De'Ami Brown 24. I know these are like underrated fan favorites on the Commanders. I will say, going down here a little bit, you obviously get Dante Fowler in the context of Madden, not nearly as good as real life, and that's just a tough contract to think about offering. I think someone like Bobby Wagner on a 1-year is pretty interesting. We'll see if we can get a 1-year, 12.5, and it just, I don't think he retires right away, and it gives us leeway in case we can't draft a young starting linebacker. Ben St. Juste, now this may be a little bit of Canadian bias, but I'd love to keep him. 3-year, $18.5 million. Very affordable for a start-out corner. Jeremy Chin at safety as well. 3 years, keeping him till he's 29, so like kind of getting him for the remainder of his prime. 3 years, 18.5, so we give pretty much the same amount of money to both Chin and St. Juste, who should continue to develop before and up to really the end of that contract extension, which is all you can ask for. So the Commanders go 3-5 to finish the regular season. Now, when you look at their record, haven't really beat any great teams in their 7-2 start, and the backstretch of their schedule is where things get tough, and we'll find out if the Commanders are legit. They play the Cowboys twice. Now, in real life, they'll probably feel pretty confident that they can go 2-0. In Madden, those are automatically tough games, we'll say. I don't want to say automatically losses, as we were able to actually split with Cowboys. We lost to Dallas, lost to Philly, lost to the Steelers, lost to the Falcons. And I mean, 10-7 is a great record, but very harsh to go 10-7 and to miss the playoffs. We were the 8th seed in the NFC, so we're just the one team out, first team out, which is rough, man. Better record than the Seahawks, who just because of crap division, and 3 teams from the NFC North make the playoffs. It's a tough roll. Looking at Jayden Daniels, I mean, he played and finished his rookie season pretty well. 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns to 8 picks. Also had 7-6 on the ground, 8-12 for Brian Robinson Jr. No 1,000-yard runner, but it'll be interesting to see how this offense goes, because are we at a ceiling? Is this always going to be offense that Jayden Daniels is going to struggle to get 30-plus touchdowns? Or much like when we were highlighting the squad, it's Scary Terry and role players, and we need to go and get more weapons for Jayden Daniels to take him and this offense to another level. We got 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns for Scary Terry. Very nice. 6-3 Noah Brown. Crowder was there as a role player. De'Ami Brown, The rookie Luke McCaffrey, just got no production out of our tight ends. So that is definitely something we need to focus on. Bobby Wagner continues to show no regression, over 100 tackles and 3 sacks. Happy we're able to re-sign him. 11.5 sacks from Frankie Luvu, 8 from Armstrong, 7 from John Allen, 6.5 from Deron Payne. Decent numbers across the board. 5 picks from Lattimore. Now, I don't know how much was actually in sim with us versus with the Saints, but happy to have him on the roster either way. 3 picks there from the rookie Samerstill, 3 for St. Juste, 3 for Chin. Pretty good interception numbers. You know what you get out of a Dan Quinn defense. Jayden Daniels does make the overall top 10 shortlist for MVP. Pretty good for a rookie. Superstar Daniels does get Offensive Rookie of the Year, so will be something to keep an eye on with that dev trait. As far as dev traits are concerned, at season's end, Jayden Daniels did not go up to an X Factor, which is becoming increasingly more common. I would say in last year's Madden, last couple Maddens, you get Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's like 75% chance you'll get a dev trait increase. Whereas in Madden 25, it's 25. It's like they flipped that. No other dev traits up or down on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, Lattimore keeps his X Factor, which is huge. John Allen keeps his, which is huge. Bobby Wagner up to a star. So we do face, significant regression. I think he falls from 87 down to an 81. But he did go up a dev trait, which, hey, we'll take it. Going free agent, we're going to do something we don't usually do, and that is target a veteran early. Zach Martin, Dan Quinn from Dallas. The connections are there. And with our gigantic need at guard, Zach Martin is going to be plug and play day 1 starter at left guard for the good guys. So with a good record, but disappointing no playoffs, decent-ish pick for the state of our roster. We have 18 needs. We need tackle. We need edge rush. Wide receiver. All viable needs. At wide receiver, we have Emeka Egbuka, who I did scout, thinking he would be available in this range, and he is a legitimate round 1 talent. Cool. Also scouted Ursary from Minnesota, regarded as one of the best run-blocking tackles in college football. Did not get nearly as good of a role. And then what do we have looking at pass rush? JT Tuamaliau, Nick Scourton. Ooh, that's a good option, though. We got a tough call here. Do we go wide receiver or pass rush? Scourton is good value, but I feel like Egbuka is clearly the best player we scouted. But what are the chances that come around like pick 50? That's where we're really picking again. That like an Evan Stewart, a Tez Johnson, Trey Harris is not going to be available. Like I feel like I'd feel better about what wide receivers are going to be available in the 2nd round versus what pass rushers are going to be available in the 2nd round. Gelati could be an option. David Bailey, could be an option. Dual Carter probably won't be there. Rylan Powell has a ridiculous production. Another Florida Gator that went on and just played lights out, different team. Blind test. Would I pick Scout? If that was like a power move with the physicals, pretty dang good. 4.64 at almost 280. Combine looks good. A block shed. Like I need to know. If that's a power move, I'd feel great. If that's a power move, I'd pick it. If that's B power move, I'm trying to just put this in the context of if this wasn't real players, this was just an actual class. B deep up rounding, B release on Egbuka, 4.33 elite speed. Yeah, we'll go with him. I think also tiebreaker, it's a Jayden Daniels. Everyone, it's all about Jayden Daniels. It's not going to be right now, about building a complete roster. And I think doing everything we can to make Jayden Daniels look and develop and be a superstar should be my priority in this rebuild. Getting Egbuka, who's been one of the best wide receivers in college football over the last couple of years on a very good Ohio State team. Got to feel good about that pick. 15th in true value, getting at pick 18, big time speed, big time athleticism, and we get the dev trait, and we pair him up with a former Ohio State wide receiver in Scary Terry. And it feels like Egbuka would have freaking been there when Scary Terry's been there. That's how long it feels like he's been in college. 2nd round, we're going to go with a little bit of a reach. We're going to grab Gelati out of Louisville as far as letter grades are concerned, because we got a blind pick at this point. As good as anyone that's going to be available that is also a scheme fit for our 4-3 defense. So we're going to grab Gelati here. Would love to see a dev trait roll. Not having nearly as good of a year as he did last year at Louisville. But we'll see what we got. Oh, no. Damn. We don't have a whole lot of picks, but I feel decent about our selections. We got depth at safety, depth at running back. Gelati, for a normal dev, 70 is not brutal. It's definitely not great, but it could have been a lot worse. And luckily, Emeka Egbuka was certainly a home run 77. Hidden dev, day one starter for us. We've made it a long summer without basketball, but don't worry, the NBA is back. Get in on the basketball action with my partners at DraftKings. And right now, all new customers who bet $5 will instantly get $200 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up using my promo code C4. New customers can bet just $5 on anything and receive $200 in bonus bets. If sports betting is not yet available in your state or province, don't worry. DraftKings is the one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy, where you can join in on all the fun and have a shot to win cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code C4, bet just $5 on any wager, and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code C4, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. So, yeah, just kept simming and simming, seeing if we could get hot, and we're at our week 9 bye in year 2. 2-6. Offensively, not good. Defensively, not good. Roster, good. I've done my part. Well, not really. I mean, I inherited a pretty good roster, but I went out and said, hey, you know what? Here's Zach Martin. He's one of the best guards of the last decade. And we're like, nah, actually, we're going to be bad. You're going to be worse. We're going to be worse than what we were. We're going to be Remember, we were 7-2. We're going to inverse that. So we got Scary Terry. Get him on a 4-year. John Allen, get him on a 3-year. Keep him for the rest of his prime. Replaceable. Got Wags there. Might be time to move on. I definitely will. He's regressing pretty badly. Definitely not picking up the 5th-year option on Forbes. Only guy, I mean, is interesting would be Brian Robinson. Just because that's not a lot of money. I think if we'll take that, so be it. We get him to he's 29, so we don't have to worry about any regression during those 3 years. But, man, oh, man, feels good getting all these guys under contract, but the way that they're underperforming, is it really? Do we want these guys around? I mean, I think I know what the issue is. One is we are a young roster. I haven't had one breakout scenario. Not even missed up. Not one breakout scenario has popped up. That, combined with the fact that we are an air raid style offense. Default here, it's the Cliff Kingsbury. We are air raid in cover 3. Air raid, yet we are not throwing the football. We are running the football, which also makes sense. That's a Jaden Daniels style offense. Defense finishes almost top 10. So the defense, it's Dan Quinn. But the offense has some cause for concern. And I think we have Cliff Kingsbury on a very short leash. We'll give him next year to see if we can figure it out. I mean, again, the ceiling that we saw as a rookie, which was good enough to get him offensive rookie of the year. That's good for a rookie, but you need to elevate your game now that you're a pro's pro. And for Jaden Daniels, our run game's non-existent, even though we have top 10 run game. No 1,000-yard receiver is unacceptable. Egbuka did not elevate this offense whatsoever. Defensively, Bobby Wagner can't continue to be like our most productive player. John Allen, Deron Payne, Luvu, Gelati, the rookie. I mean, that's not bad for a 70 rookie. 9 TFLs, 5.5 sacks. Can build off of that. 4 picks, Bobby Wags. But, I mean, I'm seeing a talented roster that's not playing up to their standard and up to their level. There's no other way to really break this down outside of the most important fact, which is, all right, great, Scary Terry, under 1,000 yards. Thanks, offense. There goes his dev trait. No dev trait gained for a young roster. Got the retirement of Bobby Wagner. The issue is anytime you do a rebuild with a rookie quarterback, especially our rebuilds, we reformat them, 5 years minimum, 10 years max. If you can get out of this rebuild without having to have Jaden Daniels on his not rookie contract, like that's the goal. That makes life incredibly easy. And we've just quickly burned through 2 seasons with Jaden Daniels on that rookie contract and 0 playoffs. Quite the retirements for the Commanders. Zach Martin was one and gone. Don't blame him. After signing him in free agency, Austin Eckler retires. And Bobby Wagner, after 14 years. Gotta be honest, I mean, probably not Eckler. Eckler's kind of a hall of really good, but Bobby Wagner and Zach Martin likely get gold jackets. We're going to try to swing for the fences here in free agency. Jameson Williams and Odafe Owe. Williams at wide receiver. That is just to rest our heads at night knowing I threw everything to make this offense work if I have to fire Cliff Kingsbury. I drafted. We have Scary Terry. Boom. Stud. Drafted Ibuka in the first round. Should be stud. Bring in Jameson Williams. We are now 3 deep at that position. Owe, if we can land him, couple competitive offers there. We'll move him at pass rush. And, all right, put up or shut up, Cliff. Make it work. Good news and bad news as we go to the draft. The good news is I did not set quarterback as my focus scout. Doesn't matter. Focus scout decided, hey, let's scout all the quarterbacks. Good news is with some of my focus scouting, I was able to find Telfer, a tackle who is a top 5 player overall in the class, should be available at our pick. Double B at pass block, A awareness. I was kind of hoping that, I believe it was just run block, had a chance being AB before I decided. But we need tackle and look pretty good. And usually, when you get these late round good tackles, they don't have the bench press. There are those guys that have like under 20 and they're going to have like 79 strength. Not going to be the case here with Telfer. Looks like a pretty damn good pick. However, we also need pass rush out. We passed on the pass rusher last year, and we got Bryce Means at pick 24. Now, might not still be available. We'll have to go double check the final mock draft, see where these guys are kind of going range. But a finesse move on Bryce Means. Also has elite acceleration and change of direction. I'm going to be honest. If the difference is having to trade up for one of those two, I think I'm going to stay put. But I probably would like the pass rusher. So let's see what we got. The old Commanders. We are picking at 16, which is Telfer. Means looks like he's going to the Cowboys. Huh. See that now. Call my bluff on what I said. If it was a team that wasn't the Cowboys and there wasn't a risk of Means going within the division and me passing on him being generational or something, like he's probably not generational, but he could be like a superstar. Definitely have a decision to make. Do we need to call the Panthers? Or do we stay pat and give even more assets to Cliff Kingsbury to try to make this freaking offense work? After careful consideration, I think we stay put. I think it's just... Oh, Means didn't even go. He went 13. So he didn't even go to the Cowboys. Telfer right there. Come on, be great. Be awesome. And I can at least say with no guilt, no worry about the people that say, oh, of course, you changed the playbook. Got too hard for you. I've done everything in my power with this pick to make this offense work. And if it does not work, we are firing the offensive coordinator and hiring someone else. Another first-round pick investment on this offense. This time to complete the offensive line and give us, well, maybe not to say complete because we just had Zach Martin retire. We need to get a guard, but I'm probably going to grab a guard in the 2nd or 3rd round. But Telfer, number 5 in true value, getting him at pick 16. So for a top 5 talent, we got literally the worst of the top 5 talents. And, okay. No dev trade, huh? One of them rebuilds. Another stud scouted here in Will Holiday, 3rd, 4th round projected 1st, 2nd round talent. And there was nothing outside of the fact that he had a tackle, a zone coverage before I focus scouted him. And we need to replace Bobby Wagner. Wish the combine was a little better. And hopefully we don't get burned here again by going off of draft projection with a low ceiling player, aka no dev trait. 44 in true value, going to be at 48. And at least we get a dev trait there. Enter the 3rd round, last guy on my board, we have Cliff Basket at guard, which you need to find a replacement for Zach Martin. We have B pass block, no idea what the run block. I'd love to think that it's a B, but if it's a D, this might not age particularly well, but he has A awareness, which should help with the base rating. Has a couple elite traits, great acceleration, elite agility, elite change of direction. His bench press maybe was a little bit better, but this is a prolific athlete at the guard spot. Sticks out like a sore thumb, and usually when prospects stick out like a sore thumb and you're in the area of blind picking, works more often than not. And does it? Yes, sir. 51 in true value, getting a pick 80. No dev trait. Damn. All right, so looking at our draft recap. All being said and done, kind of the closer of the draft wasn't anything too special. But Basket 73 normal, Telfer 78 normal. 78's a great rating. Holiday 74 with a dev trait. Now when we move, I mean, we could keep him outside linebacker. I don't think it really makes a whole lot of difference. But I will say the plan is, and it's looking like this could be a very long rebuild. He's off-ball linebacker. Let's make him middle linebacker so that if it does come time that we have to give him a new contract, I will gladly take one less overall point for a rookie and not have to pay him like an edge rusher. I need to go look at the Panthers who drafted the pass rusher that we were thinking about trading up to get. 76 for me. So we did better on the rating, and they both were normal dev traits. So fair to say we did a good job staying pat, because if we would have traded up and gave up assets to go get a normal dev pass rusher, I'd be even more frustrated right now. So as we start year 3, just a preview. This is what it looked like. We went out in the offseason, in the draft, brought in a brand new franchise tackle. Elite, prolific, deep threat speed. Final year for the OC, for Cliff Kingsbury. This Cliff Kingsbury air raid offense to prove itself, or changes will be made. Okay, midway point, we're 4-3. Bad news is still the offense isn't, like, why are we a running offense? Now, how running is our offense? Like, are we still, do we have a lot of touchdowns? No, we don't. Jay Daniels is certainly not playing like a 91 superstar rookie of the year type quarterback. Well, I said I'd give him the year. We'll see what happens, how we finish this out. $150 million of available salary cap. We will extend Marshon Lattimore. I'll give him a 3-year deal because he's a big reason why we decided to rebuild the Commanders here today, because of that trade at the deadline. Quan Martin has developed into a nice, reliable safety for us, so we'll give him 17 mil. As you can see, we have well over, a 2-year for Biadish. Keep him till he's 30. One last position we have to worry about. I think Luvu's an interesting case because he's pretty much at his ceiling. And I don't love a 3-year, so we could get younger there. Deron Payne could get younger there. That's a lot of money. I do think we retool that defense, that front line, that pass rush. I did set edge rusher as our focus scout this year. Made sure double, triple confirm it so it doesn't stay on quarterback like it did a year ago. And that's likely going to be a complete overhaul, as Armstrong, Payne, and Luvu are all going to hit the open market, and that is 75% of our pass rush. We close out year 3, 9-8. We do make the playoffs. However, offensively, still severely underperforming. The defense, Dan Quinn's defense, 3rd in the league with 3rd passing yards, which is never, anytime might build a good defense, they always have terrible passing defense. This one has elite, which is kind of surprising. Shout out Marshon Lattimore. I honestly will say, for us to keep the offense we have in place, we're probably going to need a Super Bowl run, because at this point here, we're just going to start cannibalizing our dev traits and our player ceilings with how they're performing. Jaden Daniels, there's more we can do to maximize him. And that's not from an on-field thing, because I've used all of my premier assets to maximize our offense. It still isn't performing. So, barring a surprise deep playoff run, we gave a chance. We didn't make the playoffs. We made the playoffs because of our defense. Still, again, we don't have anything. Our passing game is mid, and our run game is terrible. Like, you should be getting 1,000-yard running, especially with our offensive line, every single year. No 1,000-yard receiver. Jamison Williams didn't add anything. Honestly, all he did was eat into Scary Terry's production. Defensively, outstanding unit. Not a lot of tackles, but look at this. No one gets good numbers here. This is one of the best? We don't even have big interception. We did get some award winners. Frankie Luvu, who we decided not to re-sign, wins linebacker of the year. That could change our stance on bringing back the veteran linebacker. We also get Sam Cosmi winning offensive lineman of the year. So it's a decent amount of hardware, as well as our linebacker, Will Holiday, winning defensive rookie of the year. So in the first round of the playoffs, we're going against the 9-8 Carolina Panthers, who don't have much going for them. Should be a game that I like to think with our elite defense. That's what sticks out in that head-to-head, and we are able to get a dub. Beautiful. With a Jayden Daniels 3-touchdown, 350-yard player of the week performance. Let's actually break that one down there real quick. Nice to get our first playoff win. One game that we've made the playoffs of this whole rebuild. One win. Went off in the first half. 28 points in the first half. Clean game from Jayden Daniels. We have more of this. Like, where was this all year? If our offense played like this 75% of the time, we'd have much better numbers. Abuka goes off. Luke McCaffrey with a touchdown. Defensively, 1 sack from Luvu. 2 interceptions from Marshon Lattimore. Knows a thing or two for playing the Carolina Panthers from all his years in New Orleans. And we are on to the divisional round against the 9-8 New York Giants. Ugly records. Now, this is a matchup very similar offensively. They pass the ball a little bit better. We run the ball a little bit better. Both of our defenses are very good, and it's a bitter divisional rivalry. Let's see what we can do. I don't know. I like to think we could beat them. I believe we split the regular season against it. Hey, this is a run. We get McGee. What? Sacking a pick for the worst starter on our defense. Shout out. This wasn't even really that close. 5 picks? Let's go, Dan Quinn defense. Scary Terry almost 100 yards. We got 2 sacks, 5 interceptions, 2 from Quan Martin, 1 from McGee, 1 from oh my God. Even depth guys are getting after this. And before, and again, I don't feel after years and years and years and years I need to defend myself, but because my team's done fuck all and we're actually going on a run, this was an authentic, and they're always authentic, win over the Panthers. Authentic win over the Giants. And we are somehow, someway, a win against the Vikings away from a Super Bowl. And it's just running through 9-8 teams. We will auto-upgrade our players just to make sure that we are the best spot possible. Luvu, Zerzan, Newton, 2 starters there. Getting upgrades on the defensive side of the ball that has been carrying us. Maybe it's not fair to say carries. Jayden Daniels had a pretty good game. The defense has been better than the offense, though, in our 2 games. Come on. Got to figure out a way. I don't want to say got to figure out a way to stop the 89 overall Minnesota Vikings offense. They got to figure out a way to stop us. We also have 89 overall offense. Much better defense. Much better team overall. Year 3, can the Commanders go to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I'm going to say probably not. We don't have any players of the week. Fuck. Close. Look at that. It was the first ugly performance from Jayden Daniels in this playoff run. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Buka, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, the rookie Holiday. Defensive Rookie of the Year Holiday led the team in tackles. We just did play a clean game offensively. And with that, the Washington Commanders have announced they've fired Cliff Kingsbury. Now let's do this organically. Haven't looked at the OCs that are available. The last rebuild we did this, I did bring in the Chiefs. I will not do the Chiefs. That will be the one thing I won't do. Everything else is open season. It'll be annoying, though, if the Chiefs are there, because I just put some stupid house rule, which doesn't really need to exist. So we got Detroit offense, Vegas, Baltimore. Similar quarterbacks, stylistically. I've seen Lamar have some pretty big seasons in the sim. We got Philly, another offense that could totally work. Houston, Buffalo, San Francisco, Denver, and Jets. Washington was the guy we just fired. I think it definitely comes Philly and Baltimore. I think our offense lines up more like the Eagles. Baltimore, Baltimore, more tight ends that are going to get featured. We don't really have that. We have two really good wide receivers. Three, honestly. We have two really good ones that could act as a poor man's Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown with the dual threat quarterback. Maybe this works. Philly runs a West Coast power run. Air raid, we're 54%. When we go West Coast power run, still kind of the same. All right. Actually, you know what? We have the Eagles guy hired right now, but I want to look at what's in store potentially for our offenses. I want to look at the Eagles offense. I want to look at the Ravens offense. Jalen Hurts, not necessarily the passing yards or touchdowns I want to see, but the run game would definitely work, especially for the quarterback. Got at least 1,000-yard receiver. Three guys, though, that are within the, a shout of 1,000 yards, which sounds pretty interesting. Or you compare that to the Baltimore Ravens, who did go to the Super Bowl this year. Lamar, close to 30. The yards are up. Surprising there. I think they're both very interesting, but I do think the tiebreaker, if you will, is I think Philly is, I don't know, because they gotta get some big-time stats there as well. I don't know if that's necessarily just the depth chart for the Philadelphia Eagles versus it being the tight end position. We'll stick with it. So in closing, look at our roster this season. As far as dev traits, we did gain one in Sam Cosmi for getting lineman of the year. He's up to a 93 superstar. Jaden Daniels keeps his superstar. No other growth, which I wasn't really expecting anyone. The offense was pretty disappointing. Defensively, Luvu went up to superstar. I do plan on at least giving him an offer before free agency starts. Holiday, I think he got this because of defensive rookie of the year. I don't think he was a drafted superstar. So yes, he did. Great role there. So we're going to start by picking up the fifth-year option for Jaden Daniels. We're going to come back to Frankie Luvu. The price did come down a little bit. I think it would be like if we can get him 32, and I'll overpay here a little bit. I'd rather pay more and not have that last year where he's going to be probably like a 70, 72 normal. So we'll go 10. I think I bring this up to 4. I think I'd feel really, if he declines that, so be it. But the years are the stickler here. There we go. Nice. So look at our squad now in terms of we get the new offense. We're going to be optimistic. Where do we need to go this offseason? We have some decent money. Don't want to be spending like crazy because while we were very close, this close to winning that Super Bowl and getting that check mark on a successful rebuild, we have no idea. This team is very polarizing, and I do think now my confidence in this team is at a level that I don't know if we're going to win a Super Bowl before it's time to pay Jaden Daniels, so I don't want to be throwing money around like crazy. But looking at the offense, I think very legitimately you could make I think Bassett's going to continue to help, 75 going into his second year. I think tight end would be a position I would consider if there's a nice upgrade. Maybe not a win now. Like Mark Andrews was available last year, but at 30, he was like 17 mil a year. Like that's not it. But if we can get maybe a better dev trait, young upside, developmental tight end, maybe. But if not, maybe someone like Sinat can take advantage of this new system and develop for us as one of the members from our rookie class. But I do feel pretty confident that we don't need to touch the offense. Defensively is where we're going to have a little bit of turnover. Now, Johnny Newton can step up for Daron Payne, but I think there's a legitimate argument to be made that we need to take a look at pass rush. Also, there's a scenario where we could very easily, if we could find another Will Holiday type linebacker, kick Luvu down, put him on the line as a potential pass rusher, just in base defense, because he's already been a sub-package pass rusher. We've been utilizing that. That's his strengths. But I think from a base defense, there could be an opportunity to improve linebacker, be it in the draft or free agency, and we can get flexible with Luvu, or straight up just draft a pass rusher. I'll be aggressive. I'm at a point of desperation with this where I will trade future picks. If there is a pass rusher, top 5, top 10 picks that looks can't miss, we will be aggressive. But I think overall, this team doesn't need much. We just need better offense and defensive coordinators, maybe. I don't know. Maybe more on the offense. Our defense was top 3 last year. With all those positions being said, we are talking on the offense at tight end. Not a good role. There's Michael Mayer there. Maybe if he had a dev trait, I'd be intrigued. But like all the younger-ish tight ends are all normal dev, and that's kind of where we're at with Ben Sinnott. Defensively, could use pass rusher. There's a good one. Of course, Dorrance Armstrong is the best available. D-tackle, I'm not worried about that. Right end, you got Grady. Just a god-awful role for pass rushers. We got B.J. Ojolari, channel legend, 2580. He's only looking for 7. That's actually not brutal. I'm intrigued a little bit. Something like Trenton Simpson. All right, I'm going to go after Trenton Simpson because I like the flexibility of he's an absolute baller. Oh, those bids are ridiculous. 83 linebacker with 91 speed, 95 acceleration. Maybe you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do all we can do. We have 2 of the 3 things you want. We don't have a great scheme fit. I'm going to hit him with a very player friendly. If that's enough, so be it. We don't even make the short list. Fuck, not worried about it. Fuck. All right, so for our focus scouting, I'm going to look at I don't want to have to trade up like crazy high with. So outside the top 10, we're going to look at Patrick Hardy, who has a finesse move. I think that makes sense there. What else do we got? A power move, D finesse, couple of A's. Where are the range? Top 10 there for Easton, 37th for Moss. That is interesting. We got Spiller, who's at 20. Crutchfield at 13. We got B, A awareness there, B tackle, A pursuit. Okay, let's go Spiller. I mean, let's just get all these guys. All these pass rushers outside the top 10. See if there's a chance one of them is really good and worth trying to be aggressive at getting. Well, we got our scouting back. Hardy, not great. Crutchfield, not great. Spiller at pick 20. Looks to be the best of the bunch. We pick at 29, and Spiller is... Of course, he's going at pick 9. And then Crutchfield's going at 5. Like, all those guys are going 10, 15 picks higher than expected. Damn it. And look at this guy. 6'5" with A's. Generational wide receiver just casually in this draft. All right, so we hated the board. Didn't want to trade up. So we're now left in a position where literally no one we scouted is available, which is awesome. So if we want to try to chase a pass rush, it does not exist. Jaleel Benson really is the only option. And when you look at the makeup there, A pursuit, A block shed, B tackle, he's 6'6", 256, elite strength, kind of slow. That's just complete blind. I mean, hey, we have the pivot with Frankie Louvu if it's truly like not a good pick, and it's just another reason what to pile on why this team has failed to have success. Haven't been able to draft any studs. I mean, for a blind selection, 34 in true value, and we get a hit and dead pass rusher. That certainly helps. Not a bad. I don't always say not a bad. That's an excellent blind pick. Second round, Tracy Dobbins is kind of starting to stick out here a little bit. It's 6'6", 260. A catch in traffic, which stands out. No one else had any A's available at the tight end spot. Again, we want to challenge Benson, and if we're going with the Eagles playbook, maybe getting a tight end with some upside. So how about the fastest tight end that also, a lot of times you get the fast tight end, they're like 6'3". This guy here is built like a blocking tight end with almost 4.5 speed, and he's number 15 in true value, getting him at 61, and we get a dev trait for likely a day 1 starter. Let's stay with it. If we're just gambling freak athletes, DJ Gregory, a day 3 pick, but he's 6'5", 260, B tackle, C pursuit, C, I mean, nothing that great, and he runs almost a 4.4 at 6'5", 260. He's probably not going to be great in true value. I want to see. How's that only 84 speed? A 4.4 almost is 84? He should have close to 90. All right, so looking at a draft recap. We did get a nice little mid-round power back. Clayton Gunner following the method of, hey, let's get the guy with A, ball carrier vision, A, break tackle. Looks pretty nice to put behind Brian Robinson. Even though we did re-sign Brian Robinson, we're not really a run-heavy offense. It's never a bad thing to have more depth in that position. It might give us options when it comes to trading later on. Whiff on the athlete here in Gregory, who is not an athlete at all. But Tracy Dobbins is 75 hidden dev, 74 for Jaleel Benson. Now, he is going to play defensive end for us. So let's see what happens when we move him to, I think it would be right end is where he's going to play. Might get a rating bump. There we go. 375 hidden devs from A class. And we were picking bottom 4 picks. Nice. This is an important year. We are starting year 4. I want to get out of here in 5 seasons. Our rebuild's here. Minimum of 5, maximum of 10. But I think we have the squad. We have the quarterback that is good enough to get this done in 5. We went to the NFC Championship game last year with an offense that we knew that wasn't working. It was almost just like going through the motions until we fired the offensive coordinator. We now have brought over someone from the Philadelphia Eagles to see if we can get a little bit of that Eagles offense where we've seen Jalen Hurts put up 35-plus touchdowns and run for 10. We've seen them have 2,000-yard receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, where we look at what we got, and I absolutely think between Scary Terry, Jameson Williams, Emeka Egbuka, we have guys that can get 1,000 yards. We get a strong run game. We got a brand new, flashy rookie tight end. Our offensive line is one of the best in the conference. Defensively, we got Dan Quinn's Commanders defense. This was a top 3 defense a year ago. We went out, got a big-time pass rusher in the draft. Holiday at linebacker, the new superstar. He is bringing a different element to this defense, and I'm not expecting any great regression. We might not be a top 3 defense, but I'm saying, like, at worst, we need to be top 10, if not closer to top 5. Things have changed on the offense. A very important year, man, because we also made the decision. We could either sign and hire a Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. We decided to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Similar in ways, but there's also a chance that if this doesn't work out, we're going to be thinking, man, we should have went Baltimore. We kind of just, again, wasted another year. That's kind of the theme of the rebuild right now, is we are wasting years of Jaden Daniels' rookie contract. So year 4, we need a big year. So my point, we are 4-3. Offensively, we're almost top 10, but we do have a top 10 passing yards. I gave a peek at the bottom. 9 touchdowns passing in 7 games is, I'd rather see a lot more than that. Defense, which was top 3 a year ago, I mean, has a shot if they can get hot down the stretch, but definitely starting to see a little bit of regression on the defensive side of the ball. We're on a 2-game win streak, just beat the Cardinals 41-27. We got a player of the week performance from Jaden Daniels. 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing, 5 total. So if he's getting hot at the right time, maybe we'll see all those numbers go through the roof. But 4-3, I mean, we've never had a pretty record. So, I mean, we're on an okay spot. We have $83 million of available salary cap. We will pick up the 5th-year option for Egbuka at the end of the season. Luke McCaffrey, replaceable. Ben Sinnott, we drafted his replacement. Ben St. Juste. As much as I want to have Canadian bias, I mean, after this year at 29 going into 30, he's likely going to regress quite considerably. Same with Jeremy Chin. Coleman at tackle, yeah, I mean, he's been serviceable. So let's get him on a 3-year 27. Yeah, we could probably get him 28 and a half next week. Jerzon Newton on the D-line, finally getting his opportunity to start. So let's, okay, guess he wants more money too. These guys are greedy motherfuckers. Mike Samerstill. 3-year deal. Come on. There we go. We got one guy in, and I bet next week if we come back for just, maybe $1 million more on Newton, $1 million more on Coleman, we'll get them signed on as well. So we go another week ahead, and we beat the Giants 38-21. Another player of the week performance, and it is from Marshon Lattimore. 10 tackles, an interception, and for, again, a big reason why we're doing the Commanders rebuild, because they were the big winners, got the big fish at the trade deadline in real life, and we've seen a lot of big-time plays from Marshon Lattimore in this rebuild. It's not always the case. So we're going to go Newton, bring that up a little bit, and we got him signed on for the 25-year-old. Brandon Coleman, he needs a little bit more. We'll go 2-2. Let's go. At the end of year number 4, we go 12-5, which is 2 wins better than our year 1 record. 10-7, so it's our best season to date. Still unable to win our first NFC East as the Philadelphia Eagles had a win. I believe they swept us in the regular season, so that did not help. And in the wild card round, we got a real tough draw here as we have to go on the road against the 13-4 Minnesota Vikings, who have really good rushing offense, generally a good offense, and a really good defense. Our defense took, unfortunately, a step back in the wrong direction. I mean, not a bad defense. We've seen a lot worse. I do like, however, the changes and adjustments we made on the offensive side of the ball has given us a top 10 offense with a top 10 passing offense. See, we did not break 30 touchdowns with Jayden Daniels, but I'm going to imagine he did more than enough work on the ground here for us to feel decent. So we are top 10 in passing yards for Jayden Daniels, 29 touchdowns, 6 picks. Again, it is a first year in a new system, so there was always a chance for growing pains, and I don't think that was necessarily the case. So we had 29 passing touchdowns. He had 5, almost 600 yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns. And my God, Brian Robinson got fed. Can we maybe get a little bit less of like the goal line touchdowns and give me like 7 of those going through the air? 7 more. But Jayden Daniels goes for almost 5,000 total yards, 36 touchdowns total. That is what we want to see out of our quarterback. On receiving standpoint, we got 2,000-yard receivers in both Scary Terry, 1,312, 11-7 for Jameson Williams, just under 804 for the rookie tight end Tracy Dobbins, and unfortunately, Abuka kind of the odd man out there a little bit. I mean, he's always kind of been a role player ever since we drafted him. Luvu and Holiday both go over 100 tackles. Luvu, 106 tackles, 4 TFLs, 5.5 sacks, 2 picks, just making plays all over the field. Jaleel Benson, the rookie, 15 TFLs, 8.5 sacks. Hidden Dev, and thought there was a chance we might get something nicer. However, I mean, with that stat line, he could be in contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year, which may give him a potential upgrade there. 7.5 sacks, John Allen, 5.5 Luvu, 5.5 Gelati. And those are your interception leaders with Saint-Just in his final year here in Washington. 3 picks, 3 for Lattimore, and 3 from Holiday. I'm happy with this year. Jayden Daniels, top 10 in MVP voting. Jaleel Benson does win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That was the only hardware that any of our players are bringing home this year, but that's good because we can all be focused, locked in here on our road game against the Minnesota Vikings. Last year, we made the playoffs at 9-8. It felt like everyone in the playoffs was 9-8, and we went on a run to the NFC Championship game. We got a very tough, arguably this is tougher than any game we had in that playoff stretch last year, on the road against the Vikings, and we're able to get the job done. And what we get is 16-1. 49. What are we talking about? Come on. Well, this game wasn't at least that close. 30-17. Jayden Daniels, no passing touchdowns, 1 pick. Ran the ball to get a rushing touchdown, 2 touchdowns by Robinson. Defensively, no sacks. The 1 pick goes to Jeremy Chin, who's also in his final year here in Washington. But from that, we get the 1 seed in the NFC, 16-1 Niners. Good. Okay, they're good. They're not, like, I was expecting, honestly, a little bit better stat lines for a 16-1 team. There's no ones, top 5 offense, but within that, none of their passing or rushing are top 5. Top 10 defense. They got a top 10 defense. I'll give them that. But this is a matchup, I'll tell you right now, we'll auto-upgrade our players. This is a matchup that if I was the 16-1 team, I'd be worried. I would see the ratings of this Commanders team and be like, of course, we're going to probably lose that one. But make no doubt about it, on the road against 16-1, we're definitely the underdogs in this matchup, even if we are very similarly ranked and matched. And we get the win! Big upset for the Commanders over the 16-1, and it wasn't close. 35-23. Hell yeah. They got someone named Sam Johnson as their quarterback. Jayden Daniels goes, I'm going to throw for 400 yards. I'm going to rush. I'm going to get 3 total touchdowns. We got Jameson Williams, 100 yards through the air, had a rushing touchdown. Tracy Dobbins, the rookie. That's a rookie tight end, catching 11 balls for 100 yards and a touchdown. Scary Terry getting the job done. Defensively, Newton and Allen with sacks. Marshon Lattimore, McGee with picks. Marshon Lattimore has been incredible since he's put a Commanders jersey on. And this is back-to-back NFC Championship games for the Commanders. We see on the other side of the bracket that 6 seed Kansas City. They're pretty terrifying, but we got to handle our business here against the 2 seed New Orleans Saints, who, how are they? 13-4. They got a solid squad, top 10 passing offense, really good defense. Number 2 defense in the league. So again, I think this will be a situation where we show them the utmost respect. We'll auto-upgrade our players here. We'll make sure our players are the best that they can be. Super Bowl on the line, back-to-back years. Can we get this one over the line? Yes! 30-24. We get a player of the week performance from who else? Jayden Daniels. 300 total yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And I don't love the fact that from the AFC side, I can tell who I think we're playing. Of course, we're playing Kansas City, but for us, that is a great win. Close win. 30-24, one-score game. Quinn Ewers pulling the strings for the Saints, but a clean performance from Braden Daniels. Brian Robinson's thriving in this new offense. Tracy Dobbins at tight end's been incredible for a rookie. Maybe should have got a little more respect for the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Jeremy Chin, his second interception of the playoffs. He wants a Super Bowl ring. And now it's time to see if we can take down the cheat code. What good news we have going in this matchup is Jaleel Benson got his superstar dev for winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. Plus 10,000 XP. He's at 83. That's what we need. Take a look at the Chiefs. Tail of the tape. Very evenly matched team. They're giving us an advantage in terms of overall and offense. So I guess like percentage-wise, we must just slightly be. They got a top 5 offense, number 2 passing offense. Their defense, though, 32nd in rush yards. We got guys that can run the football. Spags must have retired for their defense to regress that bad. It's going to be tough. It's always going to be tough. We are definitely the underdogs, and we're going to treat this as such. Super Bowl appearance, we have 3 opportunities to hop on the sticks to try to get this dub here in year 4 so that we're playing with house money in year 5. We make it our 5th and final, trying to win back-to-back. But first, we have to get through the final boss of Madden 25, the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go. This would be a hell of a matchup. If Jayden Daniels continues his career trajectory that we've seen as a rookie, this could happen. I could totally see Jayden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes meeting in the big game. I'd hope it happened after like 6-7 years from now, so Philly already has a couple more Super Bowls, so I could live with the Commanders being in a Super Bowl. This is going to be a tough one. Opening drive. Mike Sainristil, 40-yard interception. And I got to cash in one of my 3. We have to get a touchdown off of that pick early. Look at this offense, man. I have not ran the Eagles offense a whole lot. Just go with a crazy mesh. That is a crazy mesh. Everyone is running across the middle. I'm going to look for Scary Terry. Most reliable. And by that, I mean, we could also just get the block, and he's in, Scary Terry. That is what we need on 3rd down. Off the Mike Sainristil interception of Patrick Mahomes. We get that one across the line. Force a punt. Trading punts late in the first. Kansas City on a drive here in the 2nd quarter. And they're able to settle for a field goal. We're marching right down the field. And we get a score. Touchdown. 2 field goals for Kansas City. The Chiefs are trading field goals. And then, of course, they get the touchdown 2-point conversion. Commanders kick a field goal. We have a 4th quarter lead. But a 4th quarter lead against Kelsey and Mahomes, it ain't going to last long. And we're going on a drive. Wow, here we go. Here we go. We'll go another mesh. We got the clock burning, which is smart. Now, the Chiefs have all 3 of their timeouts, so probably got to start thinking about calling them. We do not want to give them any time. We got Dobbins. I'm not going to lie, I can't see the play clock because my webcam's in the way. Awesome. So I'm recording this off. I'm literally playing this through my recording software, so I cannot see the play clock. I'm at a severe disadvantage. But what I want is this clock to just keep burning. We got Ibuka, J-Mo, Dobbins. I'm definitely not going to Scary Terry. I don't love that. Let's do our own thing. Get your blocks. Get your blocks! Let's go! They cannot sort through the junk. DB's looking clueless out there. Jayden Daniels keeps it himself. And we're going to make it so the Chiefs have to score a touchdown with under 30 seconds to beat us. That's the perfect Super Bowl. If at any time you have to win a Super Bowl from an NFC team in a Madden 25 rebuild, there is no better Super Bowl than the Chiefs. They are the final boss. They are, in my 10 years of playing Madden, as a content creator. This generation of Kansas City Chiefs is without a doubt the most overpowered final boss team that I've ever seen. They honestly almost always make the Super Bowl. And you can't even bitch about it. It's not like the Cowboys where the Cowboys are overpowered, right? And that's just completely unbelievable. Like, the Chiefs should be this good. The Chiefs should have that aura, as the kids say, of final boss. Bring that final boss energy. And in year 4 on his rookie contract, Jayden Daniels gets the job done. 24-21, gets the walk-off winner. Who gets MVP? Almost a perfect game from Jayden Daniels. 75% completion percent, had a passing touchdown, no interceptions, led the team in rushing, had a rushing touchdown. I'm thinking it's looking pretty good that he's going to get Super Bowl MVP. The rookie Benson, not only the rookie, the defensive rookie of the year, Benson with a TFL and a sack. Mike Sainristil with the pick on the opening drive. But I think it's very fair to say MVP of this Super Bowl, Jayden Daniels. So in the offseason, I'm going to pick up the 5th year for option for Abuka, just because we only got one more year left of this rebuild. I'm also going to show full Canadian bias and let St. Juste make the full rebuild for one more year. So for free agency, the only position I think we would need to start is to replace Jeremy Chin at safety. So we went out and showed more Canadian bias and got ourselves Javon Holland. And the idea here is we overpaid him just a little bit because we need him to change positions. Not a drastic change, but a change nonetheless. And now our team is, well, there's our upgrade. We went from our Super Bowl winning team, and the only change is we went from a 78 strong safety who did get 2 interceptions during that playoff run. Need to acknowledge that, but we went out and improved it and have an 86 superstar back there. All right, so for our final draft, we're really in a spot that we want BPA. We have no weaknesses. So what I did is there was 2 wide receivers that I scouted. Oh, there's only one left. There was 2 of these classic deep threat wide receivers available. Zach Parks is still on the board. First round talent. A, deep threat rounding. B, catching, which you don't always get that high of a catching rating on a deep threat. Like, do we need a deep threat? Do we need a playmaker like that? No. Auto pick. God. Oh, the batteries are flying everywhere. No. Let me make this selection. We got 424 at his combine. Zach Parks. Jesus. Give me him. Number 10 in true value. Goddamn right he is. Pick 32. Last player on my board, which is never great to say when you're only in the 2nd round. We get Christian Lockhart, 6'3" corner at Oregon. B's across the board. B-man, B-press, B-zone. Then you throw in the fact that he has pretty good combine. He's good, great, elite. Very easy pick for us to make. Yeah, don't need corner. Same way we don't really need a wide receiver. We're just trying to chase the best possible players, and we get number 6 in true value at pick 64, and at least this time we get a dev trade. Look at our draft recap. I mean, we did some work. 4th round, we got Tyson Lindsey, center out of Washington, dev trade. Biotish is not getting any younger, and if this was a longer rebuild, again, with all these rebuilds, I'm saving them. There could be a series where we want to come back and see if we can go any further. We got a 70 pass rush here out of Purdue. Unfortunately, we know the dev trade on our 1st round pick. Park still got a 76 rating with 97 speed. And then the 2nd round, 76 for Lockhart with the hidden dev trade. All in all, very good final class for the defending Super Bowl champions. So we go into year 5 as we look to repeat as Super Bowl champions. A lay of the land, our squad offensively, mostly homegrown, mostly doing it the right way, keeping players that are already on the roster, drafting players on the offensive side of the ball, the whole O-line. Homegrown. We got Dobbins at tight end, homegrown. Emeka Egbuka. Terry McLaurin playing some of his best football. Maybe the overall ratings are regressing a little bit, but the dev trait has never been higher, has never been better. Brian Robinson starting to show his age a little bit, but he's been reliable. His touchdowns take a gigantic uptick since we went with a new offensive coordinator and the development of Jayden Daniels, as expected for a guy that's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year this year in real life. 96 superstar. Maybe we've never had MVP, like true top 5 MVP, if not real close to winning the MVP production out of the quarterback. But for a 27-year-old, 96 superstar, Super Bowl MVP, maybe the more important MVP, when all is said and done, very happy with his development. And we've supplemented it all by bringing over Jameson Williams in free agency from the Detroit Lions. But 1,000 yards last year. Defensively, kind of a similar story. Front 3, because we usually go heavy in the front. Newton, Allen, and Benson. We've had a little bit of Luvu rotating in there, but again, all homegrown players. Gelati, who we drafted. Holiday, 87 superstar. Quan Martin still here. Sanders still. St. Just starting at corner. The big trade to get Lattimore, who's just kept his X factor because he's been playing at that high of a level. Not too often you make a trade for a corner, especially one that's at 28 years old. Like, what is he now? He is 32? There's been no regression. There's been only elite level play. 3-4 picks, constantly getting picks in big time games. Not too often you get a corner that truly transforms your defense, and that is exactly what Marshon Lattimore has been able to do, and hopefully continues to do, especially with the addition of Javon Holland back there at safety. This secondary has never been stronger. We'll put the C on his chest as we get ready for the 5th and final year of this rebuild, trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions. So that, we might as well just sim right to the playoffs. Optimistic. You know what would be cool? If we can get an NFC East. We've yet to get an NFC East title. 12-5 is our best season. But we definitely enter this. We definitely enter this season as a very fringe 90 overall team with a 92 offense, as defending Super Bowl champions, as undeniably the best roster in football. Eight and 9. What? Fuck happened? Jaden Daniels played as Jaden Daniels. Brian Robinson was exactly what he was a year ago. Receiving, we have our almost 3,000-yard receivers. And Scary Terry, even showing his age a little bit, almost had double-digit touchdowns. Defensively, our sacks are maybe a little bit lower than what they were a year ago, but we still have a double-digit sack getter in Jaleel Benson, 7.5 Gelati. Maybe wasn't getting the same production out of our D tackles that we have years past. Interception numbers are roughly about the same. 3 picks by Javon Holland we brought over in free agency. 2 for Marshon Lattimore. What the fuck? Pardon my French. Huh? Let me upgrade these players real quick. Probably some, maybe this would have helped if I didn't just sim right to the end, but it's only +2s across the board. It wasn't like we had anyone that was like +5, +6. Sitting on all those skill points, playing undermanned. How did we go below 500? This might be the best. We have a 99 overall quarterback in a quarterback-driven world. This might be the best team we've ever had go below 500. There is not a single weakness. You cannot look at this and go, well, maybe we're going to say running back. Our running back had almost 20 rushing touchdowns. He's the issue. Don't think so. Almost 3,000-yard receivers. Don't think so. A defense that doesn't have a bad starter in place. Maybe you can make the argument that like Luvu and Andrews here, but we play. I don't think that's a make or break before a elite roster to fall under 500. Fucking unbelievable. What? 8-9. Thank God we're getting out of here before we have to play Jaden Daniels' contract. I would have been... We actually are now a 90 overall. This is the best team I've ever had. Go below that for... Oh, my God. What? As we always do, look at the career stats. What we've been able to accomplish in this 5-year period. Just under 20,000 total passing yards for Jaden Daniels. 136 touchdowns, 47 picks, almost 70% completion percentage. He's been good. He's been pretty good. 5,800 yards, 67 touchdowns for Brian Robinson, just under 3,000 yards rushing, and 25 touchdowns for Jaden Daniels. I think you combine the rushing with the passing, And Jaden Daniels has been like, if you're grading it on a scale, probably B+. Trending towards A-, especially because of that playoff run last year. We went on and got Super Bowl MVP. Receiving, Scary Terry got just over 10,000 yards receiving, 68 touchdowns. Obviously, James Williams did most of that with the Lions. 3,200 yards, 21 touchdowns for Emeka Egbuka for the former first-round pick. Dobbins hit the ground running. Defensively, you got Lattimore, got 30 picks. Luvu has been, kind of played a bunch of different spots, but he was really good, reliable. 76 sacks, 117 TFLs for the X-Factor John Allen, who's been X-Factor this whole freaking rebuild, it feels like. Gelati and Benson, those are two draftable pass rushers that probably have their best football still ahead of them. Interception number, St. Juste with 12, Samer still with 10, Quan Martin with 8. Got Holiday here, the superstar linebacker. He's been playing good football, reliable football. What the hell happened? Eventually we're going to get to a rebuild where we don't get that year 4 Super Bowl. And we're going to have a situation like this. Where it's like, all right, great. Now I got to pay $400 million for my quarterback. We're going to have to probably make some tough cuts. And we got no Super Bowl to show for it. Luckily, though, we went on a little bit of a run last year. I got the job done, thankfully. That would not be a great way. This is Saturday morning. This has been a 2-day rebuild that I've been working on. This is Saturday morning. What a terrible way to start my Saturday. If we had to, we would have to just rebuild again. Our salary cap situation, we'd pay Jaden Daniels. We'd have to probably redo the running back room. We'd probably have to have a tough decision about a wide receiver on this roster. Likely, our interior offensive line, probably one, or if I'd say probably one would have to go. Beyonce is on a big contract for a center. Defensively, John Allen, Marshon Lattimore not getting any younger. Luvu not getting any younger. It's bizarre. Bizarre. And that's what this goes down as. It goes down as a successful rebuild, but also goes down as probably the single most underperforming season we've had to date. Which is, are you breaking even? You're definitely ahead. But bizarre ending, man. But that will do it for me today, guys. We at least get the Super Bowl dub, successful, realistic rebuild here in Madden 25 with the Washington Commanders, led by Jaden Daniels, led by Marshon Lattimore on the defense. Let me know in the comment section below which team you want to see me rebuild next, be it in Madden or College Football 25. Take it all and every suggestion under consideration. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, as we've recently just broke 175,000 subscribers here on the channel, which means we're on to the next big goal, which is the big 200,000. So we're slowly going to start chipping away at that one. And that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, it's your boy C4, and peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.